New football rules have been introduced this season, and Football Manager 2020 incorporates some of these into this year's game. One of these changes involves goal kicks and how a team can look like under different kinds of circumstances. On today's show, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to explain what your team can look like if your goalkeeper distribution instructions and the play out of defense instructions are used differently in different combinations. My name is Daljit, this is Bustthenet, welcome to the channel. If you want to stay updated with more videos on FM20, hit the like and subscribe button to stay in touch. You can also join me on Twitch at Bustthenet. Check my Twitter feed for dates where I go live. There are new ways of playing the ball out of defense in Football Manager 20, and a lot of your choices are going to boil down to how you use the distribution instructions for your goalkeeper and whether or not you are using play out of defense as a team instruction. When you choose to use the distribute to center backs instruction without the play out of defense team instruction, your goalkeeper is going to pass the ball to the central defenders. Whether or not the central defenders opt to pass long or short will depend on your team mentality, their roles, and whether they are being pressed. So you need to be very conscious of this decision if you choose not to use play out of defense. Your center backs are going to drop into the 18-yard box. If you're under a lot of pressure, they may just hoof the ball or clear it without trying to find the pass to wing back. Here we are using distribute to wing backs without any play out of defense instruction. The goalkeeper will play the ball immediately to the wing backs, and the wing backs will either run the ball down the flanks depending on the team mentality, or they could just very well hoof the ball looking for players in midfield. Also note how the midfield players are positioned playing a 4-3-1-2. No midfielder is dropping deep to help with the ball transition. This is something that you need to bear in mind if you choose to use the instruction this way. This could be useful in a counter-attacking system where all you want to do is kick the ball long. However, this could also see the ball turn around and enter your half all over again if your boys are useless at winning the second ball in midfield. Also note how one of the central midfielders has dropped closer to where the keeper is going to try to pass the ball. He will be trying to pass the ball down towards the right. The keeper will distribute the ball to the central defender. The central defender then has options to either pass the ball to the central midfielder or to the fullback. When the fullback receives the ball, he could also decide to pass the ball back inside to the central midfielder as they work the ball out of defense into midfield. This is what play out the defense does. It encourages your team to keep the ball and transition the ball smoothly from defense right through midfield. Here I'm using the play out of defense instruction along with distribute to fullbacks and center backs. Notice how the fullbacks have dropped a bit deeper and the central defenders are inside the box. The midfield group of players has also dropped slightly deeper as we try to work the ball from the keeper through midfield and hopefully get the ball up the pitch. When you're playing like this, you will notice that your team is going to be spending quite a fair amount of time trying to build the ball out from defense through midfield. You want to make sure that your team is actually capable of doing this, because this is going to require first touch composure, dribbling. They should also have good off the ball skills. The challenge of doing this is going to be when you're faced with prevent shot goalkeeper distribution and a team that is actually playing with a high aggressive press. When that happens, your players' composure will be tested. So if you're going to use an instruction like this, you have to be absolutely sure that your players can pull it off. Play out of defense as an instruction doesn't just affect goal kicks. Here we have a keeper who's got the ball in his hands. Obviously this is not a goal kick, but our two central defenders have entered the box. The goalkeeper tries to play the ball out of defense and he kicked the ball to the white target man. So when you're using play out of defense as an instruction, you also need to pay close attention to whether or not your team can pull it off. Here our team can't really pull off a play out of defense instruction without telling the keeper specifically who to pass the ball to. The only caveat here is when you're playing with any kind of team, you're going to pay attention to the roles that you're using, because roles like the ball playing defender, the no nonsense central defender, the roaming playmaker, they might occasionally play the long ball forward. looking for players to attack the space. What have I decided to do with my team? Well, my keeper can't play the ball to specific players, so I've decided to remove the play out of defense instruction for my goalkeeper. This doesn't mean that the rest of the team is just suddenly going to hoof the ball up. What we're going to see is players who have more aggressive roles, like the playmaker, the no-nonsense central defender who just hoofs the ball anyway, and the ball-playing defender. Roles like these players are going to occasionally just play the ball forward because their play instructions within their roles influence them to do so. Well, play out of defense is going to look different. This year, you're going to have to think very carefully about how you use play out of defense, because if you choose the wrong keeper, you choose the wrong kind of backline, and you don't take into account your formation and the formation that plays against you, that instruction could be a bit tricky. I will be doing more guide videos, and you can join me on Twitch as well. I stream twice a week. I'm going to try and explain a lot of these concepts in shorter segments on the show, so I will probably do it thematically as well for Twitch. Maybe on one day I'll just spend an hour looking at play out of defense with different kinds of formations to show you what can happen, and that's probably the direction I'm going to take Twitch in for the time being, so that during this beta process I can share as much as I can with you. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's show. And now, don't forget, patrons, you can visit Discord to get the rest of the book. We've got other books there as well. Well, there are books, right? Quite a few books. I'm trying to remember what the other books are. And there's a lower league guide. There's a handbook. There's a tactics handbook. There's a quick guide. Yeah. Some of these books are going to take a bit of time for me to roll out, right? Like, you know, I just don't spit everything out in one day. So within the next couple of weeks, we'll have other books coming out as well. And I plan to do more videos, guides. Join me on Discord. Hit me up on Twitch, Twitter. Ask me questions, and I will drive the channel in the direction that you wish. You guys take care. Have a good one. Once again, thanks for all the support. Bye-bye.